Welcome to the card making portion of our Friday night fun. So tonight is, let's see, what day is today? Today is Friday, January 21st. And so we just played our rounds of bingo, and congratulations to those that won that. And now we are getting ready to start the card making portion of our bingo night. So the first card that we're going to do is a real simple but very cute card. So this is the card that we're going to make. And this card, it comes from one of our mystery stamps that we've done in the past, and with just a couple little things that you just change up the DSP and maybe what you stamp right here. So we're starting out with polished pink, and this is 8.5 by, or pardon me, 4 1/4 by, oh gosh, no, it's 8.5. I'll get it right here eventually. Yes, it's 8.5 by 5.5. That's what it is. And then it was scored at 4 1/4. Excuse me. And then I have a piece of black, basic black, and this is polished pink, and it is 1 3/4 by 5.5. And I'm going to bring in this just piece of the DSP, and it's the one with the conversation hearts on it. And so this piece will be cut down to 1 1/2 by 5.5. So I'll bring in my cutter. So when you get your DSP, or when you get your kit, you'll have the cardstock already cut, scored, and everything for you. Then you'll have to take your DSP and cut it down for each card. I generally don't do the DSP if it's included in the merchandise that you're getting. So I need 1 1/2 for this. And then I'm going to cut this down to 5.5. So that easy. We'll bring in our stamps. I have a stamp here of the heart. That's out. The stamp sets that we are using is the conversation. Doing love and happiness, and we're using a celebration, special moments, and then I think it's the other set is sweet conversation. So it's goes along with the DSP. And so, yeah, sweet conversations. We're using it and the dies, and then we're using the die and embossing folder combo pack that goes along with the other stamp set. So I'll put these over here to the side for now. So we will get started. So here's my heart that I'm going to stamp right here, and I'm going to use Versamark so that it gives it a very light, just a little watermark behind it. And you can do more than one. You can do it all over the page if you want. I chose not to. And then I'm going to bring in my words, happy to have you in my life. So these stamps you would think would be just Valentine, or something on those lines, but I'm going to show how it doesn't necessarily have to be Valentine. Yes, you think of conversation hearts as being Valentine, but I'm adding different sentiments so that it doesn't look just like it's just Valentine. So I'm going to take my cardstock here. I'm going to fold it over and meet my edges here. Hold it in place, crease in the middle, and try to burnish. So there's my card. So I'm going to bring in my Versamark and my memento. So first off, I want to take the Versamark and ink up. This is a type of ink that's just like a watermark. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom, put my heart, and you can just ever so slightly see that heart there, like that. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and then bring in my memento ink with the happy to have you in my life. I'll just put that right over where the heart's at. I'm going to bring my DSP and my basic black in. And I'm going to just add glue to the back. Decide which way I want the hearts to go, because it's not really directional, but depending on what section that you cut, whether or not it is. I'm going to put that in there. Okay, I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back of there. And then we just add it right here on the front. Now I always flip mine over. See, just looking at the back, I can see the black hanging off. So I'm just going to trim using my card edge. And just trim, keep my scissors right up against that edge. And there we go. There's that. So I'm going to add a heart or two on the inside. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to add a couple on the inside. You can put a piece of white cardstock on the inside here. Or you can just do some watermark stamping. There we go. So there's a heart up there, and then one down there, and then you can either write a sentiment, or if you have another set that has the sentiment that goes along with happy to have you in my life, then you could add that to the inside. So there is our card number 1. All right, so I'll move these out of the way. Close up my ink. Okay, so now then card number 2 We have a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4.25, and this is Highland Heather. And then we have a piece of the DSP, and it is 5.25 by 4. And I'm using the striped piece. On the other side, this is what it looks like. So on one side, we have the hearts and, you know, more traditional for Valentine's. But on the other side, we have some regular patterns. So we're using that pattern for this card. And then we have a piece of our cardstock vellum, and it is 5 inches by 3.75. We have a circle from our layering circles, and it's roughly just under 2.75 for that white circle. We have another piece of Highland Heather, and it's a 1/2 inch by 3.75. Then we have a piece of the basic white, and the basic white is 5.25 by 4 inches. And then we have ribbon, and we have about 21 inches of the ribbon to do this card. And then we're going to bring in this sheet of paper again and use the hearts from the dies that go with the Sweet Conversation. We have 3 different sizes, and they die cut out the different shapes of the hearts. So this is a more tall, slender. That's a larger, a little chubbier. And this is a short, squatty one. So it will, you know, cut out the different ones. Now, it will cut out not just like all the green, whatever color that you wish to have on your card. So I will trim some of this away, and then we will do some die cutting. So all I do is just basically, you can cut this out by hand if you don't have this die cut set. So I'm going to just trim this out like that. And then I'm going to grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So that I can run this through. So I need our plate number 1, a plate number 2, and a second plate number 2 to do the cutting. And I'm going to trim this down a little bit more. I want it to be able to fit through, and I don't think it would have quite fit through. So, I don't know if you can see here, but I'm going to add this heart onto here. And then I'll run that through. You could, if you have them spaced out enough, you can do more than one at a time on cutting. But considering I'm using the mini one, I decided to just cut them one at a time. That conversation heart. And then set this down, and then do the love you. I don't think I have any of the little chubby ones on there. Okay. I have that one. And I'll do another. Whoops. I like this little machine. It's just so handy when at your workstation. If you have an area that you can have your bigger one set up, we'll probably have to use the bigger one here for the one of the other cards. But for right now, to do these little hearts, it doesn't take very long to cut several of these things out. And then, let's see. I would say do as many that as you do several, so that if you need to change up your design a little bit. But if you don't, like I said, if you don't have the dies, you can hand cut these, and it doesn't take very much to do hearts. That's the nice thing about Stampin' Up's paper. It coordinates so nicely with with the other products. I have a few already cut out, but where they went, who knows? So I'll just do a couple here, a couple more here. See if the little chubby ones here. Oops. I need to remember to set it on the actual machine and then line it up. It seems like if I pick it up, I always move it. Several different colors of different ones. I'll do this green one just in case I want a green one. That way you have different colors, even though the card that we're doing is all Highland Heather. You want to give other little bits of color in there, that's fine. So theirs aren't exactly, because they look kind of watercolored. So if you don't like that part of it, it has more of a white border around it than the rest, then I would say hand cut them if that's what you want to do. So I'll move this out of the way. So this is the card that we are making. I did not go ahead and put this piece on the inside yet because I hadn't decided what I wanted to do with that. All right, so I'll put my hearts over here to the side, and we need our glue dots for the vellum. The glue dots will still show, but not as much as regular glue. And so let's get this. I'll start using my scoreboard to score my paper because I keep being off about anywhere from a 16th to a 32nd on my cards. And what's going on with that? If it's just my eyes or if it's something's not calibrated right. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take and add glue to the back of the DSP. And I got to get some of this glue. There's quite a bit of glue on the end of it. Oh, there's sirens like crazy here. Sounds like fire trucks. So I just add it around the edge. I don't get real close to the edge. Add that to the front. And then I'm going to take my vellum and put a glue dot in each corner. Okay. And then I want to center that on my DSP. Like that. So you can still see it just a little bit right there down here, but it won't be too bad. All right, so now then I want to glue this to the front of my card here. And I'll show you how we'll do the ribbon, because with it being vellum, I couldn't just wrap the ribbon around it. So I'll show you how I do it. So add that like that. Now I take this ribbon and either a ruler or your bone folder or something, and I just fold it over the end. And then I just slide it through to the other side like that. And then I make certain, I guess you could just lay it down before you put your vellum down, just lay it across, but I found this worked fine for me. And then I want it just at the top of my strip of Highland Heather. So I want to make certain I've got it pretty straight. And then I'm going to bring it over to the side. And then I'm going to crisscross. And I want to make certain my ribbon is fairly straight. This is a type of a linen ribbon. So I smoothed it out like that. And then I have reverse tweezers that I'm going to get right there on the where I crisscrossed. And that holds it in place so that it makes it where I have two hands to tie my bow. So come up. hold my knot in the middle, pull on the ends. Pull out my reverse. And trim off the ends of my ribbon. All right. So then the next thing that I want to do is see if I can find my little piece of cling wrap. I just tore off a piece of cling wrap. It's in like my kitchen stash of stuff. I have a roll for my crafting, but it's just the regular cling wrap, not the clear. It's kind of got a texture to it, and it's sticky on one side and not the other, and you're supposed to be able to put over a drink, keep it from spilling. But I'm going to use it to, once I have everything set up, I will pick up all my hearts, and then I can just glue them down. So I want to add this to the inside here. So I'll put a glue dot on the back. And then one here on the front, just in the middle, because I know that'll get covered up. So I'm going to slide this in underneath my vellum. And then, like, mine's bubbled up just a little bit. That's fine. So just put your hand down and then rub it down, and it will adhere down. So that's fairly easy. That way I know where my placement needs to be. If I try to put my circle down and then do everything else, then that way I know right where I want to put my placement. All right, so I could do, so basically I put this one up there. I can add my love you. You're cute. So you just start adding them on. And then, so these, I'm going to go ahead and adhere down. So we'll pick this up. And so all my hearts are together. That's how I wanted them to lay. I'm going to use at the top of the heart a couple little mini glue dots, or not glue dots, dimensional. I used regular glue, and I will show you why I've decided to use the dimensionals, because I don't know if you can see this heart right here. It's got a raised up area because this is thicker than back here. And so I didn't like the way that it looked. Probably the camera probably won't pick it up, but I didn't like that there was this little, I don't know, raised up area there. I didn't like the way that looked. So I'm changing how I did it this time. So I just leave it on this, the wrap here, the cling wrap, get my backings off. So now I just pick this up, and then I reposition it back where I want it. And then insert my bows out of the way and press it down. And remove gently my cling wrap. Okay, so then I can add my next ones, and these I'm going to put the thicker dimensionals on. How about I do that? I'll make it a little bit different this time. Okay. So kind of like that. So then you can reuse these over and over until they just don't stick anymore. Press it down. And now I'll bring in the thicker dimensionals and place them on the back of these. Let's see, need them off here to the side. And then right here on this edge where it's going to be on these, I'm just going to add a glue dot. Okay, so I have dimensionals and then a glue dot. That's because these already are raised up. I don't want to put a dimensional here because then it'll make it, how this is uneven, will make that really uneven. So I took the backings off, and now I want to line this up the best that I can, and then press and pull back. And so there are my bits and pieces on there like that. So then now I want to bring in my sequins. Remove and just scatter some of these on here. And as you look at these, some of these are pink. They're all the same color, but when you look at it one way, one might look pink and the other one might look yellow. And see how they have, because they're multifaceted, some are pink and some look yellow, some look blue, some look purple. They're very pretty. Okay, so I have these pieces. Take my inside piece. A lot of times I just add glue to the top of it. Open it up. Bring it to the inside here. Center it. Press across the top. And I think we'll add those inside there. Open this. Press it down. Lift up easy. Then just add some glue to the back. And then glue it down and lift gently. And there is our second card. Really cute, simple, other than the die cutting, pretty quick and easy. But if you use your larger Stampin' Cut and Emboss, you could do 3 of them at a time, so it would really cut down on your time. And so this would be a really quick card to do. So that's card number 2. All right. Now then, so that one there, it did not have a sentiment on this card. We did not add another sentiment. We just put, you know, text me, love you. So you could do a thinking of you on the inside here, or you could do happy birthday. So it does not have to be Valentine's Day. It could be if you just put happy Valentine's Day on the inside, or you could make it birthday by changing up the sentiment that you put on the inside. So those two could be Valentine's Day or could be totally something different. This next card that we're going to do is the same thing, but this one I'm going to make it Valentine's Day this time. But you can make it happy birthday. It could be happy anniversary. It could be, you know, wedding card. It could be whatever you want it to be. But I'm going to make it a Valentine's card because the other two I did not specifically make those Valentine. Okay, so here's the fun in this set. And this one is the one that is the happiness and love and happiness. Sorry, could not think of it. So I have a cat here on my embossing folder, the static. So the fun about this embossing folder is that it cuts and embosses at the same time. So you can put this in here, add your part to the inside, put your piece of paper in here, and as you run it through, it cuts through. So you can see all the little cut marks in here and the red paper and the white paper. But you can also use just the heart by itself. And so I did that, and it's just a regular, just little heart. So we have one of those. You can put a piece of cardstock in here, run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and get just an embossed piece. And that's what I did here. And because this is a dynamic, and it's, you know, a little over 6 inches by 6 inches, be careful because our machine is not much larger than that. And when it started going through, you always put your binding, the hinge through first, but then it got caught on the edge of the machine and it did kind of chew up the edge there. So that's kind of sharp. So I need to file that away just so that nobody gets, you know, cut on it. And then I had the same thing on this side. So that's just, you know, a FYI on the embossing folder that you have to be careful. So we have this cut from just this, and this just embossed. But on another card, I will show what it does when you use them both together. So we'll set that there to the side, and I'll set this off over here. Okay, so this piece that is embossed is 5 inches by 3 3/4. And then we have and it's basic white. We have a basic white heart. We have a piece of the ribbon that you're getting in your supplies, and it is 16, about 21, 22 inches long. I like to have a little extra, and this is a type of a linen-y type ribbon. It's really pretty. It's kind of almost like a seam binding too. So this is Blushing Bride, and this is 11 inches long, and it's 4 1/4 inches wide, and I scored it at 5 1/2, so halfway. Then we have a piece of real red, and this piece is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Another piece of real red that is 4 1/4 by 3 inches. A third piece of real red that is 4 inches by 1 1/4. And then we're using the DSP that is, we're using this side for part of it. And so it is, let's see, 3 3/4 by 4 inches. So that's what we're using for part of it. And then for the other part of it, we're using the back side of this DSP. And this one is, let's see, 1 1 1/8 by 4 inches. So those are our pieces there. So we will get started putting things together. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to add our embossed white piece, basic white, to the front of our red piece, our real red. I've been using liquid glue because it seems, especially when you have really embossed things, to use liquid glue, glue dots. And this is a very dynamic plate, so it's like heavily embossed. It's not just a slight impression. It's very kind of a rough impression. So that way I can get the glue down into all the little grooves and stuff of the embossing part of it. Add that on there. So that's really pretty. Just, you know, that could be a card front right there, and just add a little sentiment to it. And you could add a little collar to the front of on this heart. You could take a sponge dauber, or you could take our alcohol markers and just lightly touch the flowers and change that. But we're going to keep going with this. So we're going to take this pattern and add it to this piece of real red. And we'll flip this over and add that to there. So right now we're layering all of our pieces together with their layers. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to layer it on here. A piece of glue there, so take care of that because my paper is sticking to my mat here. So this is a glue eraser that we used to sell, but we don't sell them anymore. But I took mine and cut it down into pieces so that I would have, like, could take a piece of it with me to classes, and where I could have it here for my online class. All right. You can order them off of Amazon now. Don't know if we'll ever get them back in or not. I hope so. They're quite handy to have. So I'm going to center that. Okay. So that looks pretty good. We'll take my cardstock and bring it together. There. Now we're going to start doing our layering. So I'm going to add glue to the back of this. And because it's going onto an embossed thing, I want a little heavier with the glue. I don't want it coming loose. So, and then I want to center that over that heart. We're covering up that little heart. I'm not pressing real hard because I don't want to take the embossing out of the thing, but I want to make certain that the glue coats well underneath there. And then the next piece I want to add is I'm going to add this across the center, so probably about right there. So right in there. I like to use my grid paper to kind of make certain that I have it fairly straight across. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my ribbon. And I'll bring my ribbon off here to the side, and this is the card that we are making. So I'm going to make certain that my ribbon is flat. Off here to the side. And I'm going to pull in opposite, instead of pulling this way, I'm going to go top and bottom with it. Trying to make certain I can get that ribbon to lay kind of flat. There we go. So then I want to bring in my reverse tweezers. I love these things. We don't sell them, but if you don't have any, you need a pair. So you just kind of go over where it crisscrosses and it holds tension on it. So I like to take the loop at the bottom and bring my piece at the top and cross over the top of my loop. Put my finger in behind the loop and then press the second loop behind. And then slowly tighten down. Pull on, hold the knot in the middle and pull on the tail. Slowly pull on them. Hold the knot and pull down. And pull on my loops. And just keep doing that till I work it down to the size of a bow that I want. And then I can pull my tweezers out. And then you just can work your ends to where they will lay flat. So kind of like that. Bring in my scissors. And trim off at an angle my little pieces. So there's that so far. Now I want to bring in my card base. It opens here at the bottom. I'm going to add glue where that ribbon's at, so I won't lose my ribbon. And then just add that like that. And center. This one could easily be happy birthday, you know, happy anniversary, thinking of you. But we're going to bring in the little heart and bring in the words. Valentine greeting. Bring in my scratch paper here so that if I need to stamp to make certain it's straight, I can. So this one comes out of the set, says Valentine greetings. Pretty straight on the block. Okay. And this is a red rubber stamp. Some of them are photopolymer, but I have a mat under this that's a like the piercing mat, and so that's why I do not need to bring in the little piercing mat that we have. Now I'm going to bring in the hearts, and these come from the Sweet Conversation set. And then I want to bring in our Blushing Bride ink. I'm going to ink up the 3 hearts and just stamp them centered right under the Valentine greetings. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back. You always use up your dimensionals that are around the edge of your sheet of them. I like the fact that you get several dimensionals in a pack. We have several layers going on here, so I'm adding the dimensional to the top, and then to the top, and then one to the bottom. And then slide it into place and try to get it as straight as I can. And there you go. So I'll bring in these rhinestones again. I like the smaller ones the best. There we go. All right, now this one here, I didn't add them to the hearts, but on this one here, I added them to the hearts. And there we have it. So here I, put them like that. So that is our card number 3. And our last card is a gift card holder. We're going to use this little die. And this is the card that we're going to make. And you just slide your gift card just behind here. It's opened up enough that you can just grab it. I only glue 3 sides of this piece here, and then put this on to cover up the gift card. And then you can always add a piece of white cardstock to the back, basic white, so that you can sign it. So it's a little gift card. It doesn't have to be a gift card holder. If you want to glue this down, you can, and that could just be the card front. And then you could put a piece on the back and put a sentiment on the back and sign it. That's fine too. But if you're going to a wedding and instead of taking a gift, like one that you would wrap, and you just want to take a card, you could either put money in here, or you could put a gift card in there, or you could put one of those credit cards that, you can use anywhere. You could slide that in there. So we were going to make this one. So here's my scrap for my wedding wishes, and we're going to die cut that out of here. So that's just a scrap piece of the blushing bride. It kind of brings that in, and I don't know where my piece of the DSP, where it went. So I may have to grab that and cut it down. So we have a piece of real red cardstock, and it's just the size of a base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but it's just one piece that doesn't open. You can make it where it opens if you want. If you wanted to make it where it like opens sideways, you could do that. So you would then make it 4 1/4 by 11, and you would score it 5 1/2, and then you would add the basic white to the front of the card, and then just do all your other layering as if, you know, you're doing it that way. But I just wanted a really simple card. So here's that one. We have another piece of real red, and it is 2 1/2 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and it's the piece that goes behind the DSP. And we have a piece of the basic white, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And we have another piece of real red that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I put it into this embossing folder, and I just basically centered it up, ran it through, and this is what I got from that. And then this piece here is basic white, and it's 3 inches by 3 inches. I put the die cut on the inside here, and then I put my piece of cardstock in here and centered it up, put it through, and it cut a heart out of the center of this and put a stitching all around that outside opening. So the piece from the center we weren't using for this card, so I took it, like set it off to the side. So let me see if I do have it. It just fell out of the envelope. Yep, make certain it's right. Yeah. So this piece is 4 inches by 2 1/4. And I know these are suckers, but it doesn't matter whenever it's underneath, mainly underneath this piece, because you've got your red hearts and then you've got your little white hearts. So we will start putting this together. Now then, there was something that I thought about adding to this, because I thought, well, this is really, you know, stepped up quite a bit with all this embossing, but I'm wondering about maybe adding some ribbon to the to this piece to have a bow right there. So I might grab that. Oh, here's the heart from the center of here, and all I did was take alcohol markers and just very lightly touch them onto those raised up bits, and look how pretty that is. So if it was, you know, on the front of a card, just look at how pretty that would be, just adding just a little bit of color to those raised up bits. And I mean, I just very lightly just touched like this. I didn't like color it in, just lightly touched, not with these, but with our alcohol markers. Okay. So let me, I don't think I brought the ribbon. Let me look here real quick. I don't see it. Oh, yes, I do. I have it. Actually have it right here. I didn't have to go very far. So we will see about how long of a piece we might need. I like to give myself a little extra. Okay, so this piece, I cut it right about 16 and a half inches long. All right, so we'll get started putting this together. This is one of my favorite cards. So, all right, let's grab our glue. I'm just going to add this. And like I said, if you have a second piece of the white, We could add it to the back to sign. Sometimes I don't think about those steps whenever I'm doing card classes like this, but then as I'm doing them a second time, I'm going, oh, it'd be really nice to add that here. And so, and this is a really pretty pattern also, but I like this side. So I'm going to add the glue to this back side. So I hope you're enjoying these cards. And like I said, they don't have to be Valentine's. Anything that has love, like if you love somebody, you can send them hearts for their birthday. If you love somebody, you can send it for Valentine's Day. If you love somebody, you can do it for a wedding, for just a thinking of you. Okay, so what I did was I was going to glue that down, but then I want the red hearts mainly on this side because we're going to cover this part up. So I'd like for the red to show. That's why I just turned it around, even though I guess I could have turned the whole thing around. But like I said, I don't think about things when I'm creating until after I've done it. So, all right. So now then, I'm going to, I think I'm just going to put the ribbon there for now and add it to the front, but not glue the ribbon down in case I don't like it. I can pull it out. Does that make sense? So I'm going to put glue everywhere but where the ribbon's at. My glue's starting to run out. My daughter had a project, so she used it, and I've used it for a lot of cards, so I bet it's getting close to running out. I keep it upside down with the point down so that I always have the glue. So I may not like this ribbon on here, so if I do it this way, I can pull that ribbon out. Already messed up. Phooey. I wasn't gluing that down all the way around because of to put my gift card in, and I knew I should have made myself a note for that. So what are we going to do? We are going to take this adhesive eraser and take this, just drop my eraser and get the glue off. And I'm not going to cut this out of the video because people need to see that, you know, even demonstrators make mistakes. Even demonstrators make mistakes. So I don't really want it to be real tacky where the card's going because I want them to be able to get the card out there. But if it's, you know, leaves a little bit of a residue. So if you go to glue something down that you didn't intend to glue and you catch it quick enough, you can just erase the glue. I think because I went off script and was going to put the ribbon in there, it kind of threw me off, but that's okay. We'll fix it. I'll fix it. A lot of times I have to trim this eraser because it starts getting yucky. And if you just take your scissors and trim the glue pieces off. Okay, so right here through the center, I got most of that glue erased. So that's not a problem. And then the part that's where the loop of the ribbon will be, could just do another piece, but I already have it glued together, so I don't want to waste it. So I'll just put a little effort into it right now. So this one's going to be a little bit longer of a video because of this, but I think it's good for customers to see that mistakes can be overcome. Okay. So now then, that loop, and then I have to add more glue because now it's dried. So, but I'm only going to add it to those 3 edges. That's probably why my glue is going now. I'm running out for a reason. Okay. See, no one will know that that happened. See? Now then, so where's my gift card? Make certain it'll slide in. Yep. See, the glue's gone there. Yeah, awesome. All right, so now then, let's add these together. So we'll set this off to the side. And we're going to add glue to the back of this and then glue it to the front of that. So swap out for new glue. So I want to add a little bit up here in the corner. And then I'm going to center this over this heart, and it should be centered on the actual piece of red cardstock. There. All right. Now then, I'm going to add it here. I want to go ahead and tie my bow off here to the edge. My ribbon will still slide. We didn't glue it down. Clear over here to the edge. So I'm going to bring in my tweezers. Do my loop. Okay, so like that. So now then, you want to bring the heart in. And then decide where I want to put it. So kind of like that. So I think I'm going to like this ribbon on here. Trim that off. Trim that off. And then I'm going to add glue from the center of the heart over to the left. So I'm going to flip it where I know this way, and I can see where the center of the heart is. So I'm going to stay on the left side of that. I will tell you that whenever you emboss and it's that heavily embossed, it becomes a little bit flimsier. Like the it makes the fibers like a lot softer. So just add that like that. Make certain I didn't glue it down. Nope. And take the gift card, slide that in there. It's one of my kids' old Easter gift cards. So yeah, you can hide it in there like that. Looks like it's pretty straight. Okay, so now then we need to do this little bit. So I'm gonna take the Wedding Wishes and the Memento ink. And I do a very good job. And you can make this whatever you want it to be. Like I said, it could be Happy Valentine's Day. It could be, you know, for the one I love, it could say happy birthday. There. Bring in my little machine again. Wait, 1, 2, my paper, my die cut. This die cut comes from one of these two sets. I'll look and see which one. And then you center it and just run it through. All right, so I'm going to add dimensionals to the back of this. These are the minis, so I'm going to do 4. That's the equivalent of about 2 of the regulars. Maybe 2.5. Right. Excuse me. Okay, so I'll bring this in. And then put Wedding Wishes to the center here. And it's time for some rhinestone bling. So, middle of that flower. This flower. Put that one down there. Like I said, you can add a piece of basic white to the back and put it a greeting or a well wishes or, you know, something. You can add, if you wanted to add a piece of ribbon to this so that they know, like take a piece of ribbon and add it to the back of this so that they know to pull that out. I can show you how to do that. So this is just the little scraps that I cut off whenever I was trimming it up. And I will take a glue dot to the inside and tack it together here. Take another glue dot to the front. And just slide it in there like that. And then when they see that, they'll know to grab it, and it just pulls the gift card out. So there you go. That is our fourth card. And if anybody gets the numbers off the back of that card that was laying there, there's probably only $5 on there. So it's from several years ago. There's probably nothing on there, but you know, just saying. So card number 4. Card number 3. Card number 2. And card number 4. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed these cards and see that they, you know, both sets can be very versatile. It can be Valentine, it can be, you know, wedding, it could be birthday, it could be just thinking of you. And so I think this one here would be really cute, thinking of you, like on the inside, you know, do a thinking of you in a verse, and then, you know, write them a nice little note. This here could just, you know, be a Valentine greeting, you know, just to whomever. They have more greetings in the set that are specific to, they have them where they say like, happy anniversary, my love. And to the one I love, happy Valentine's Day, friend, for my wife, for my husband, all sorts of things. So, I mean, celebrating your anniversary. So it's a love and happiness set. So it could be, you know, whatever that you want your cards to be. And then this one here, it says, you know, the happy Valentine's Day or hug me, BFF. So it can just be whichever that you choose. This is the set that we were using, and I was going to do happy birthday and thinking of you. And if I get a chance, those might be some bonus cards that I do that go along with this set. So, but there you go. Our 4 cards for tonight's fun night. So our bingo night. This is the card class that goes along with that. So all the cardstock pieces and vellum will be cut to size. Any of the die cutting will be done, and the embossing, the die cutting, those types of things will be done. The stamping and any of the DSP is up to you to do. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed.